They called me their ATM until I shut it down. Before we begin the story, take a moment to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support means the world to our channel and helps us spread more shocking true stories to light. Now, let's get started. My name is Jenna. I'm 32 years old, and I come from what you might call a complicated family situation. And by complicated, I mean I'm basically the human ATM for a bunch of entitled, selfish leeches who happen to share my DNA. Let me break it down for you. My younger brother, Ryan, is 29. He peaked in high school as the football star and never quite got his life together. These days, he just drifts from one dead-end job to another while living rent-free in my parents' basement. My sister, Lisa, 27, is a mother of two. Her entire existence revolves around posting pictures of her kids on Instagram, painting this picture-perfect mom life. But when it comes to actually providing for them, somehow, she never has money for school supplies or anything remotely necessary. My dad, he lost his factory job 3 years ago and just never bothered finding another one. Mom, she spends her days glued to daytime TV, self-diagnosing mystery illnesses that, conveniently, require expensive treatments. And then there's me, the only one in the entire family who actually worked for a decent life. I busted my ass to get a marketing degree, pulled insane hours at work, and climbed the corporate ladder. I finally landed a director position at a respectable company. I'm not rich, but I should at least be comfortable, right? Wrong. Because every dollar I earn gets sucked into the bottomless pit of my family's so-called emergencies. At first, it was just small things. Dad needed help with the mortgage. Fair, right? Then Lisa's kids needed school supplies. Then Ryan got evicted and needed first and last month's rent for a new place. Before I even realized what was happening, I was sending over $3,000 every month to various family members. Do the math. That's $36,000 a year, after taxes, just gone. Meanwhile, I'm living in a crappy one-bedroom apartment, eating ramen noodles twice a week, while my family keeps their Netflix subscriptions and treats themselves to Applebee's every damn Friday. But hey, family helps family, right? At least, that's what my mom texts me every single time she needs another $500 for her so-called medical treatments. And I bought into it. Every single time. Until Thanksgiving. Until I saw the video that changed everything. The Thanksgiving betrayal. Thanksgiving rolled around, and I was drowning in work. I had a massive client campaign due, the kind that could secure my promotion and a hefty bonus. I told my family weeks in advance that I probably couldn't make it to dinner. Of course, my mom pulled the usual guilt trip. But Jenna, it's family time. Your father will be so disappointed. The kids keep asking for you. Can't you just do your little computer work another day? Little computer work. You mean the job that keeps a roof over your head? But fine. I tried. I planned to pull an all-nighter Wednesday, so I could free up Thursday. Then, at the last minute, the client changed half the deliverables, and I had no choice but to work through the holiday. I called my parents and told them I definitely couldn't make it. My dad, the same man whose mortgage I helped cover for 3 years, had the audacity to say, "This family supports you through everything, and you can't even give us one day?" I almost laughed. Supports me? In what universe? To make up for missing dinner, I sent them money so they could have a really nice meal. Not a single thank you, just more guilt. Fast forward to the following Tuesday. I was at work, buried in spreadsheets and coffee, when I got an email from my cousin Vanessa. The subject line? OMG. At first, I almost didn't open it. Figured it was some dumb family drama I didn't have time for. But my curiosity got the best of me. The video took forever to load on our crappy office Wi-Fi, but when it finally played, my stomach dropped. It was Thanksgiving dinner. The one I skipped so I could work my ass off for promotion. The same job that had been funding my entire family's existence. They were all there, laughing, drinking, stuffing their faces with the meal I paid for. And then I heard it. "Ryan, thank God Jenna couldn't make it. Now we can actually enjoy ourselves without her boring work stories." Instant nausea. Lisa, right? She acts like we care about her marketing crap. Like we're supposed to be impressed or something. And then, the worst part, my mother. The same woman who cries on the phone whenever she needs more money for her so-called treatments. She raises her glass, and says, "Well, her boring job pays for this beautiful spread, so I'll drink to that." And then my dad, slurring his words, adds, "To Jenna, our personal ATM, always reliable, always available." They clink their glasses together and toast to me, to my money, to the fact that they have been bleeding me dry for years. But it got worse. "Ryan, she actually believes we need all that money." My dad, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. "Tell them about the boat." "A boat? What boat?" Dad chuckles. "Got it docked at Uncle Steve's lake house. Jenna thinks I'm paying for blood pressure meds, but I'm really making payments on a sweet little fishing boat." I couldn't breathe. Then my mom chimes in. "Oh, and don't forget about our cruise this winter. Jenna thinks it's for my arthritis treatment." The camera pans across the table, showing them all laughing, all celebrating their scam. Then Vanessa's voice comes in. "You guys are terrible. What if Jenna finds out?" My dad, still laughing. "She won't. She's too busy working to notice. Besides, she likes helping family. Makes her feel important." Important. Important? I felt like I was going to throw up. The email for Vanessa had only one line. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I meant to send this to my therapist to show what I've been dealing with in this family. Please call me." Yeah. No, I didn't call. I couldn't. I barely made it to the bathroom before I lost my lunch. The rest of the day was a blur. I smiled at coworkers. I nodded during meetings. I even gave a presentation that apparently went well because my boss complimented me afterward. But inside, I was watching that video on a loop. $100,000 over 3 years. All of a lie. I drove home in a daze. Had to pull over twice because I couldn't see through the tears. But by the time I walked into my apartment, something had changed. The sadness was gone. And in its place, something colder, something darker. I checked my phone. 5 missed calls. 2 from Vanessa, probably trying to do damage control. 3 from my mom, most likely asking for money. After all, it was the first of the month. Time for the ATM to make its scheduled withdrawals. I silenced my phone, didn't even listen to the voicemails. Then I poured myself a drink, sat on my couch, and stared at the wall for a long, long time. You know that moment in the movies where the character finally sees the truth and everything changes? That was me, sitting in my crappy apartment that I could barely afford despite my high-paying job, because I was too busy funding my family's secret luxuries. The ATM was officially closed. But closing the account? That was just the beginning. The day the ATM shut down. The next morning, I woke up with the mother of all headaches and about 20 more missed calls. My phone was blowing up like crazy with texts, too. "Mom, Jenna, honey, the transfer is a day late. Everything okay? Dad, I need my medication refilled. Ryan, yo sis. Landlord's on my ass about rent. Can you send it ASAP? Lisa, the kid's tutor payment is due tomorrow. Don't forget." Not a single one of them asked how I was doing. Not a single, "Hey, are you okay?" Not a single, "Hope work's going well." Nothing. Just, "Where's the money, Jenna?" I scrolled through my messages from the past 3 months. It was always the same pattern. They only contacted me when they needed cash. I felt like such a damn idiot. So for the first time in 2 years, I called in sick to work. Then I sat down and went through my bank statements. And what I saw made me sick. $1,500 per month to my parents for mortgage help and medical expenses, aka boat payments and cruises. $800 per month to Ryan for temporary rent assistance. That's been going on for 3 years. $950 per month to Lisa for the kids' education. Botox. And then there were the so-called emergencies. Every few weeks, like clockwork, someone needed $300 to $500 for a car repair, medical bill, broken appliance, or school trip. It was always right when I got my quarterly bonus. In total, $10,300 a month. For 3 years. I stared at that number for a long time. Then I opened my banking app and canceled every recurring transfer. Every single one. Gone. Then I blocked their numbers, created a new email address, deactivated my social media accounts. And let me tell you, I wasn't just mad. I was furious. And when I'm mad, I get methodical. I scheduled an appointment with a financial advisor. Then I spent the next 6 hours going through texts, emails, and every single penny I had ever sent them. But something about Vanessa's oops, wrong send, excuse didn't sit right with me. Why would she be recording that video for her therapist? And why now? After years of silence about my family's behavior, why suddenly drop this bomb in my lap? Something felt off, so I started digging. I went back through old group chats, old emails, even birthday messages, little breadcrumbs scattered throughout the years. And then I found it. Vanessa had been unusually close to my parents over the past year, like showing up at every family gathering close. She was also getting really chummy with Ryan, which was weird, considering she once called him a human dumpster fire. And then there were the random mentions of our grandparents' lake house. The lake house technically belonged to my grandparents, but Uncle Steve had been managing it for years, handling maintenance and taxes. Vanessa had been scheming for her slice of it, probably hoping to convince everyone she'd be the perfect heir once my grandparents were gone. She dropped casual comments like, "It's such a shame Grandma's not using it anymore. It would be better in hands that actually care." Or, "It's too much for your parents to handle alone. Maybe someone else should step in." At first, it seemed harmless, but then I remembered something my mom mentioned a few months back. Something about using a little extra money to cover property taxes on the lake house. Money that had come from me. Weird, right? Why was Vanessa so fixated on a property that technically wasn't hers? So I kept digging, and the more I found, the worse it got. The final puzzle piece. I found an old group chat from months ago. It started with Ryan joking about my promotion. Nothing major, just a casual. "Jenna's moving up in the world. Better time our rent, emergencies, huh?" But then Vanessa's reply hit me sideways. "Yeah, we should catch her while she's feeling generous. Maybe tell her it's for the kids or something." Excuse me? Maybe it was a joke. But reading it now, it felt like a strategy. And then I found the email. An old email buried in my inbox. From Vanessa to Ryan. "If Jenna feels guilty, she'll keep paying. Don't push too hard, though. We don't want her backing off." My stomach dropped. She wasn't just aware of the scam. She was part of it. And worse, she was manipulating both sides. Pretending to be my concerned cousin while quietly encouraging Ryan and my parents to keep the money flowing. And then, the final puzzle piece. I found an old social media post. A casual comment from one of Vanessa's college friends. "Hey, are you still trying to get your hands on that lake house?" Vanessa's reply? "Working on it. Slowly but surely. Patience is key." That's when it all clicked. Vanessa knew she'd never get the lake house if I stayed close to the family. Grandma trusted me. If it ever came down to selling the place, I'd be the first person they asked. Vanessa needed me gone. She needed me to burn the bridge for her. So what did she do? She dropped that video into my lap, knowing it would set me off, knowing I'd cut everyone off, knowing that once I walked away, she'd slide in and play the supportive cousin, helping my parents sell the lake house, probably to herself, for a fraction of what it was worth. Vanessa wasn't just manipulative. She was a master at it, and I had almost fallen for it. But not anymore. The setup. I texted Vanessa from my new number. "Hey V, it's Jenna. Got your video. Want to talk about it over coffee tomorrow?" Her reply came instantly. "Oh my God, yes. I feel terrible. I'm so sorry you had to see that. Starbucks on Main at 2. "Sure you are, Vanessa. Sure you are." The showdown begins. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my mom. "Jenna, we don't know what's going on with you, but this is unacceptable. Your father might have a heart attack without his medication. Is that what you want? We're your family. You can't just cut us off. Call me back right now." I deleted it. Then I poured myself another cup of coffee and got ready to meet Vanessa. The showdown with Vanessa. The next morning, I woke up feeling different. Lighter. For the first time in years, I wasn't scrambling to move money around, checking my bank balance, or stressing about which family member needed what. The ATM was closed. Permanently. But before I could fully enjoy that freedom, I had one more loose end to tie up. Vanessa. She thought she was the mastermind of all this. She thought she had played me perfectly. But now, it was my turn. I got to the coffee shop a little early. Picked a spot in the back where I could see the door. And right on time, Vanessa walked in. She was fidgeting, clutching her coffee like it was a lifeline, her eyes darting around nervously. When she spotted me, she put on her best, "I'm so innocent. expression and rushed over. Jenna, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that video. I had no idea they were using you like that. I feel terrible. I leaned back, staring at her. Calm, cold. How long have you known? She blinked. Known what? I tilted my head. Cut the crap, Vanessa. How long have you known they were scamming me? Her face did this weird, twitchy thing. I just found out at Thanksgiving. That's why I recorded it. I was shocked. Wordlessly, I slid my phone across the table. On the screen, a screenshot. A text between her and Ryan from 6 months ago, talking about how to get me to chip in for grandma's nursing home bills. Bills that Medicare actually covered. Vanessa went pale. You've been helping them con me for years, I said. You sent that video to push me over the edge. You wanted me to cut them off. Make me the villain while you slid in and played the hero. I leaned in. That lake house. That's what you're after, isn't it? Her hand was shaking now. Jenna, save it. She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Then, for the first time in this entire nightmare, Vanessa dropped the act. Her shoulders slumped. She looked down at her coffee, sighed, and muttered. It wasn't personal. I actually laughed. Not personal? Vanessa, you deliberately made sure I saw that video at just the right time so I'd cut them off. You let them milk me dry while pretending to be on my side. And now that you've been caught, all you can say is it wasn't personal? She looked up, eyes desperate. Look, Jenna, I screwed up, but you're not innocent either. You were stupid enough to keep sending the money. She cut herself off, realizing she'd said too much. I smiled. Thanks, Vanessa. That's all I needed to hear. I picked up my phone and hit record. Her eyes widened. You? Just wanted you to say it out loud. I stopped the recording, slipped my phone into my bag, and stood up. She grabbed my wrist. Jenna, wait. Please. I can help you fix this. I yanked my arm away. Oh, you're going to help me, Vanessa. You're going to get me proof. Her face twisted in confusion. Proof. I nodded. Bank statements. Receipts. Photos. I want hard evidence of exactly what they've spent my money on. And if you don't, I slid another screenshot across the table. This one? Bank transfers from Grandpa's estate. $30,000. All mysteriously landing in Vanessa's account. She froze. Her breathing picked up. How did you? I smiled. I'm a lot smarter than all of you think. She swallowed hard. What do you want? I leaned down and whispered. I want every single receipt. She hesitated. And if I do this, you'll keep quiet about the inheritance thing? I gave her my sweetest, most fake smile. Of course. Family helps family, right? She let out a relieved breath. She actually thought I was going to honor that deal. Cute. The aftermath begins. By the time I got home, my phone was still blowing up. Mom, Jenna, this is unacceptable. Your father could have a heart attack without his medication. Is that what you want? Ryan, we're coming to your office today. Be there. A threat. How sweet. I texted my boss. Family emergency. Need another day off. Then I forwarded Ryan's text to building security. They weren't getting anywhere near me. The next day, Vanessa delivered. A USB drive. It's all there, she whispered, glancing around nervously. Bank statements, credit card bills, photos. They've been using your money for, well, everything. She took a deep breath. Vacations. Gambling. A boat. Jewelry. Designer clothes. Your mom got a facelift last year. I stared at her. The $12,000 for her back surgery. Vanessa nodded. She went to Mexico for it. All-inclusive resort recovery package. I gripped the USB drive so tightly my fingers ached. Thanks, Vanessa. You did good. She leaned forward. So, about our deal. You'll keep quiet about the inheritance thing? I smiled. Of course. She relaxed, let out a huge sigh of relief. She actually thought she was in the clear. Adorable. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house. No warning. No text. I walked in without knocking. They were all in the living room, mid-conversation. They froze the second they saw me. Like deer in headlights. My mom stammered first. Jenna, thank God. We were so worried about you. I ignored her and dropped a folder onto the coffee table. Read it. They hesitated. I crossed my arms. Go on. Read out loud. Dad flipped it open. His face went white. Bank records. Receipts. Text messages. 3 years of lies. Lisa's voice was shaking. Jenna, we needed. I cut her off. No, you wanted. There's a difference. They all started talking at once. Excuses, pleading, anger. I let them yell. Let them dig their graves deeper. Then, when they finally shut up, I spoke. The ATM is closed. Forever. Mom sputtered. But we're family. I stared at her. Then I turned to walk out. You were. Not anymore. I left them there. Let them drown in their own mess. And when my phone started blowing up again, I didn't even bother blocking them. I just let it ring. They weren't worth my time anymore. Grandma's birthday. The perfect stage for payback. A week after I walked out of my parents' house, the fallout was in full effect. Ryan tried to ambush me at work. I had security escort him out. Mom left voicemails crying about how I was tearing the family apart. Delete. Lisa posted some sob story on Facebook about betrayal and family turning their backs. Blocked. Vanessa? She was squirming hard. Her little inheritance scheme was about to explode, and she knew it. But the real fun? That was saved for Grandma's birthday party. See, my parents had already spread their version of the story. Told everyone I had changed. That I was too obsessed with money to help my poor, struggling family. That I was selfish. That I didn't even care enough to show up for Grandma's big day. What they didn't know, I was coming. And I wasn't coming empty-handed. The entrance. The party was at my parents' house. The same house I've been helping pay the mortgage on for years. I showed up an hour late. Wanted to make sure everyone was there to witness what was coming. The second I walked in, silence. Like a record scratch in a movie. My mom nearly dropped her drink. My dad's face went ghost white. Ryan looked like he was about to puke. And Lisa? She grabbed her kids like I was about to snatch them and run. But Grandma? Her whole face lit up. Jenna, they said you couldn't make it. I smiled, hugged her tight, and handed her a beautiful cashmere sweater I'd bought. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Grandma. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Then, before my mother could drag me away for some private talk, I walked straight into the living room, where all the extended family was gathered. Uncle Steve, Aunt Linda, family friends, my audience. I turned, holding up my drink. I like to make a toast. The room quieted down. My parents looked like they were watching a horror movie in slow motion. Vanessa? She was already inching toward the door. Not so fast, sweetheart. The truth bomb. To family, I said, raising my glass. And to honesty, I set my drink down, pulled my laptop from my bag, and connected it to the big screen TV. First slide, my bank statements. 3 years of monthly transfers to my parents, Ryan, and Lisa. Total, $10,300 per month. Murmurs. People shifting uncomfortably. Second slide, text messages. Ryan, time our rent emergencies, haha. Lisa, tell her it's for the kids. She always pays for the kids. Mom, Jenna will never say no. She lives for feeling needed. Now, people were gasping. My mom shook her head violently. Jenna, what is this? I ignored her. Next slide. Photos of the boat. The one Dad bought with my money while telling me he needed cash for heart medication. Then pictures of my mom on a beach in Mexico. The $12,000 back surgery she begged me to cover. Turns out, it was a facelift at a luxury resort. Next, Lisa's Botox treatments. Ryan's gambling receipts. More gasps. People whispering. And then, the final slide. The video. The one of my entire family toasting to me. Calling me their personal ATM. Laughing about how they'd scammed me. Drinking to the fact that I was too busy working to ever catch on. The room? Dead. Silent. Like a funeral. My dad stood up, pointing at me. You listen here, you ungrateful little. I held up a hand. No, you listen. I stepped forward, looking each of them in the eye. I have copies of everything. The lies, the fraud, the stolen money, the fake emergencies. I have receipts, bank records, screenshots. I turned to Lisa. The tutoring money? I called the learning center. They've never even heard of your kids. She turned bright red. Then to my mom. The emergency medical funds? I checked your insurance. Everything was covered. You never needed my money. Her jaw dropped. Then my dad. The boat loan? The bank is already investigating you for fraud. Turns out, Lying on loan applications is a felony. His face twisted in pure rage. Finally, I turned to Vanessa, who had almost made it to the door. Vanessa, care to explain your part in all this? She froze. I clicked to the next slide. Her text messages with Ryan and my parents, talking about how to keep me on the hook, how to milk me for more, how to push just enough guilt, but not too much or I might cut them off. The whole room turned against her. She started shaking. Jenna, please. I held up a final document. Her inheritance scam. The money she'd been stealing from Grandpa's estate. Aunt Linda shot up from her chair. You stole from Grandpa? Now, it was full-on chaos. Vanessa ran out the door. Lisa was crying. Ryan was screaming. My mom? She turned to my dad, horrified. You said she'd never find out. I grabbed my bag, turned to Grandma. I'm sorry this happened at your party. She squeezed my hand. Don't be. They should be sorry. Then she leaned in and whispered, best birthday ever. And with that, I walked out, for the first time in my life, completely free. Epilogue, the fallout. Ryan tried to threaten me. I filed a restraining order. Lisa sent me a $2,000 check as an apology. I still haven't decided whether to cash it. Vanessa? The prosecutors offered her a deal. Testify against my parents or face charges herself. She flipped on them instantly. Dad's bank account? Frozen. Fraud investigation underway. Mom's crocodile tears? Completely ignored. And me? I just signed the papers on my new condo. No more ramen dinners. No more guilt. Just peace. A text popped up on my phone. From Lisa's son. When can we see your new house? Aunt Jenna. I stared at it for a long time. Then finally typed back. Soon. Just you and your brother. We'll have ice cream. The family I was born into? Beyond repair. But maybe, just maybe, I can save the next generation. Because the ATM is closed. Forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more real-life family dramas. Let me know in the comments what you think about today's story. Was it fair or totally messed up? See you in the next one.